It's the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Bull. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, a momentous occasion for the Urban Renewal 2.0 program and a leading tertiary level institution here on Grand Bahama. The nation's leader joined in the celebration and made a major announcement during that commencement exercise at the Grand Lucine Resort on Saturday night. Joan Davis-Roll was there.
Hundreds packed the Grand Lucine Resort to witness the auspicious occasion. It was an historic night for the Urban Renewal 2.0 GED program here on Grand Bahama and Reeve College, which turned out the largest graduation class in the college's history. The nation's leader, in an inspiring address, reflected on his many struggles as a youth and zeroed in specifically on the graduates of the Urban Renewal GED program, a signature program which has afforded many a second chance. The Prime Minister then announced the launching of a major initiative, stating that youth-related issues are being placed high on the government's agenda.
The strongest statistic that ought to attract our attention is the level of unemployment amongst young people. No country ought to allow its children to fall through the cracks. Every effort ought to be made. Just as I'm advocating not to give up and not to give in, I'm saying it to the state. And so, yes, in New Providence, we can start a special school. And I want to see it work for 6, 10 weeks, 15 weeks, whatever the time. So I would know that's the answer. I don't apologize for urban renewal. I don't have any day-to-day responsibility for it. I just ask the people who are involved in it to recognize there are children in our community who had the same experience I had academically and who may not have a parent. He may not have a parent who can be what Miss Maybeen Benaby was to this young man.
Deputy Director of Urban Renewal on Grand Bahama, Michelle Reckley, speaking in glowing terms about the partnership between Urban Renewal and Reeve College, as she too made an important announcement regarding the presentation of 2 special scholarships. This is President of Reeve, Terrence Archer, boasted of the college's overall success and commended graduates for attaining their diplomas, associates, and bachelor's degrees.
I am so happy. I am honored to announce tonight that 2 students, our one female, Miss Anita, Anita, just stand and wave for me, please. Mr. Carson Forbes.
We have watched you grown, conquered, blossomed into wonderful flowers and individuals. Some of you we cried with. Some of you we've went into your personal lives to reach down further to give you the encouragement.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
In other news, parents of students at a public school in the Western District are questioning if repairs at that institution will be completed in time for the opening of the new semester. Tonight, the Minister for Grand Bahama is responding to those concerns. Some parents of 8 Mile Walk High School have lodged complaints that the school's science and computer studies blocks are still in need of repairs. The Minister of Grand Bahama, Dr. Michael Darville, is responding to those concerns and says the government is well aware of the issue.
I want to ensure the residents of 8 Mile Rock, the students as well as the parents, that the science block that was removed from operation at the 8 Mile Rock School as a result of contamination with mold and possible leaks in the roof. Contract has already been awarded for the repairs necessary to make sure that when we reopen in September, the school will be in complete operation.
He says two contractors will be working simultaneously at the campus.
One who will be carrying out the necessary normal school repairs, and the other one will be focusing specifically on the science block.
Darville says the Minister of Education, the Honorable Jerome Fitzgerald, will also be on island this week, and all concerns outlined will be addressed at that time.
We intend to do a major mold remediation work along with the repairs both to the roof and inside the classrooms. And there was also an issue associated with the science block with some additional chemicals that needs to be exposed. We will definitely make sure that those chemicals are disposed of effectively, and the science block will be safe for the students, the teachers, as well as the staff that's responsible for cleaning. So I assure the residents of 8 Mile Rock that that problem is being addressed. We do apologize because we wanted to start the work while school was in operation. We were advised not to do so because of the work that is involved is a little bit more, there's a little bit more structural work than we initially anticipated.
In other news, an historic program officially introduced to Grand Bahama today. Officials hope that this groundbreaking initiative, made possible through a multi-million-dollar grant, will help families living in poverty to rise above their circumstances. Here's Joan Davis-Roll with this report.
Today it is Grand Bahama's time.
With that said, the social safety net reform project called RISE, made possible by a 5-year $7.5 million loan from the Inter-American Development Bank, was launched here on Grand Bahama on Monday, in West Grand Bahama to be exact. While addressing scores of residents at the 8 Mile Rock Gymnasium, the Minister for Social Services and Community Development, the Honorable Melanie Griffin, says its launch is indicative of the government's commitment to the RISE acronym: renewing, inspiring, sustaining, and empowering.
To rise, to rise. We ain't just come to bring you to a meeting. We're going to issue you your cards today. We will be issuing cards today to some 978 food assistance recipients. 848 are clients of the 8 Mile Rock Center, and 130 are clients of the Freeport office, all of whom have been certified eligible for the use of the card for food assistance. Cards will be issued today and tomorrow, and this means, therefore, that as of Wednesday, July 29, 2015, these persons will utilize the prepaid card instead of the paper coupon to obtain food assistance. They will become, as clients in the New Providence like to say, swipers.
She told the recipients of the new social service card that this historic program, which is already witnessing a degree of success in New Providence, comes with restrictions.
The purpose of the card, first of all, is to ensure that persons have access to what? Food. Food. Hence, the card can only be used in food stores. And I can assure you that it will not work at any other establishment. You can't use it in the web shop, all right? No buying numbers. You cannot use it in the beauty parlor, trying to get your weave fixed and all of that kind of stuff. All right, you can't use it at your nail technician, getting your sculpted nails, okay? So these are the things, and guess what? You cannot use it in a liquor store.
The historic card that will be issued to nearly 1,000 persons in West Grand Bahama will be good for a 3-year period. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Joan Davis-Roll.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs addressing the concerns of residents on Grand Bahama regarding the processing of passports. The Honorable Fred Mitchell telling the media that there is a bottleneck when it comes to Grand Bahama, but assures that he is seeking to address that issue to see that it improves. The passport office has been coming under fire lately due to the apparent delay in the processing of the vital document. Some on Grand Bahama contend that a production center on this island might help to speed up the process. But the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, Fred Mitchell, says that's not the issue.
The issue is not the printing. And our advice, I am advised, when the system was bought, is that you should have only one printing center for security reasons. So it should not be possible anywhere else but one place to print the passports. Then you have control over the source of it.
The minister notes that there are many challenges even prior to that process. He says approval to print is among the list.
And approval to print the passport means that you have to have people who know who are citizens of the Bahamas, because citizenship of the Bahamas is a very complicated thing to decide. And this has a lot of people frustrated as well, because of the way the laws are structured. Sometimes you have to go back to the great-grandmother in order to determine whether you are a Bahamian citizen or not.
And he says another challenge occurs when there is a name change. He gives this example.
My name is Fred Mitchell, and suppose I used to spell my name with one L, and then I show up to the passport office and my birth certificate has two L's. Well, for all intents and purposes, as close as it may seem, that's two different people. So you have to then get an affidavit which says the Fred Mitchell with the one L is the same Fred Mitchell with the two L's. And that's a lot of that issue.
He adds there is also a scanning process.
You come in, you fill out the paper, you get enrolled, put your fingerprint in, so on and so forth, and then the file just sits there until the people in data processing can scan all that stuff into the computer. The question is, why do you need to do it? Those are the two roadblocks, not the printing. Printing is the easier part once it gets past that. So all of that we're looking at.
While Minister Mitchell also giving notice of an impending change when it comes to traveling to Canada. As of March next year, electronic travel authorization will be required before boarding an aircraft for Canada.
Bahamians don't require visas, but this system is being put in place so that you have to have this number before you present yourself to the airplane, otherwise you won't be allowed on the plane. So that's coming, and it's probably a good thing to know in advance. As of the 16th of March, they're saying next year, they're saying it's going to be mandatory.
Now, according to a Canadian website, the electronic travel authorization is a new entry requirement for visa-exempt foreign nationals traveling to Canada by air. Overland travel and travel by sea are exempt. Now, the authorization is electronically linked to your passport and is valid for 5 years from the day it is issued or until your passport or other travel document expires.
If you wish to travel now, you have to apply 24 hours in advance, at least 24 hours in advance, and get this. They haven't released that information yet, but I'm sure it's an electronic. It's all electronic, and they say you should get a reply automatically straight away, unless there's some issue.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Elections for the Bahamas Communications and Public Officers Union held today. Voting taking place at the Bahamas Public Services Union Hall here on Grand Bahama. Line staff from ZNS, VTC, Cable Bahamas, and the Bridge Authority were able to cast votes. Incumbent President Bernard Evans is seeking another term. He is being challenged by Dwayne Clare and Dino Roll. Switching gears now, the City of Freeport Council sponsoring 3 camps this summer to engage the youth and steer them in a positive direction. The Susan Wallace Teen Center is catering to the younger students. Councillor C. McMahon Campbell and Omise Liborn are excited about the camp and the number of programs being offered.
For more than 10 years, the City of Freeport Council has 100% financially back the summer camps that offers a wide array of programs: swimming, arts and crafts, sewing, computer lessons. So it's a program that we offer to the community from 9 to 1, and it's been an excellent program for years.
We have hosted this summer event for the past 18 years. This being the first time we have engaged St. George's, a third camp open, and over at that camp you can see where we have implemented carpentry, we have implemented cosmetology, and they have even stepping out of the outside by going to do community service.
Arts and craft teacher Veronica Ellis says the kids are very receptive and are enjoying using the recycled items. The handicraft will be on display at the end of the month.
The kids learn craft for the 4 weeks that the camp is going on. And during that 4 weeks, we do a variety of different things. Like you see here, the girls are now doing wiring. They make the rings from wire and a variety of beads and sometimes shells, as well as a number of other recycled stuff that they doing there. So, you know, the children are learning to do and how to use recycled items.
And now it is time to ask the doctor.
Hi, and welcome to Ask the Doctor. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. Esther from Freeport sent this question. I went to the clinic for my yearly checkup, and after my doctor looked over my blood test results, he told me that I have metabolic syndrome. He didn't really explain what it is. Is it serious? Metabolic syndrome is a serious health condition. It affects approximately 34% of adults and places them at a higher risk of diabetes, stroke, cardiovascular disease, and heart attacks, as well as diseases related to fatty buildup in your artery walls, causing blockages, which is called atherosclerosis. This can become particularly dangerous when the arteries leading to your brain, heart, kidneys, and legs become affected. The underlying causes of metabolic syndrome include being overweight, physically inactive, and genetic factors. To diagnose metabolic syndrome, we usually look for 3 or more of the following risk factors, such as blood pressure greater than 130/85, triglyceride levels, a type of bad cholesterol greater than or equal to 150, HDL cholesterol, also known as your good cholesterol, to be less than 40 in men and less than 50 in women, and increased abdominal obesity, which is measured by your waist size to be 40 inches or greater in men or 35 inches or greater in women. Because metabolic syndrome is a cluster of risk factors, many of which must be determined with the lab work, this condition has to be assessed and diagnosed by a doctor. Even though this condition is serious, the good news is that it can be controlled by diet, exercise, weight loss, and good blood pressure control. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
And be sure to check out the first Seagrape Homecoming Friday, July 31st through Sunday, August 2nd on the main road in Seagrape, 8 Mile Walk. Stay with us. Ricardo Liborn has a check on sports when we return.
Hey everybody, it's Monday. It's time for sports. I'm R. Anthony Lightborn. Don't blink or else you are going to miss it. Well, Bahamian Brewery and Beverage Man of the Boat Sculling competition was something to remember. I tried my best to get Sheena to go out there, but the woman can't swim, okay? The Science Man of the Boat Sculling competition on Taino Beach during the Grand Bahama Regatta was an event like no other. Heat 1 of the men's division was a mess from start to finish, and get this, a traffic jam on the water. Well, no, some of the competitors in Heat 1 knew that they were simply going to do it the right way. But, like Lucas, he broke an oar, and so he had to turn around and use some foot power to get going. Let's go to Heat 2. That's better. These guys know the art of sculling, and they have it down pat. There had to be one. One had to be rescued. This guy almost got to the Berry Islands without an oar. Here we go with Heat 3, the men's competition. This one was total bedlam on the water. These guys don't have a clue on what they are doing. It's called sculling, guys, and it's got to be so bad that you need to call Bajra for some help for Heat 3. This is bad. Yep, you're the champion. You're the worst in your heat as far as the competition. The semifinals were a whole lot better, and the real skippers prevailed, and they all advanced to the finals. The ladies' turn, and Assistant General Manager Clayton Russell sanctioned this race, and for good reason. Okay, this looks like trouble, and just to make sure, keep them close, very close. Sculling is a real Bahamian sport, and these ladies have put everything into it and also completing the race. They're all winners, and they had a blast in the competition. In the men's finals, it would be Josh Green actually taking control of the race and will go on to win the Sands Man of the Boat sculling competition on Grand Bahama. Richard Ross would settle for a second place and Stephen Roll third place in terms of finishing. Richard Ross is going to represent Grand Bahama in the National Sculling Championship, as Josh Green already won Long Island and he has earned a spot in the Nationals.
And as I do close out, I'd like to say to my good friend Craig Wallace, our prayers with you tonight, buddy. It's going to be okay in the morning. That's a look at sports tonight.